Badlands, run into Badlands, explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going off script again, I know, but I just want to personally thank you. We've been through some stuff. We've gone through some of the most complex military operations this country's ever conducted, and your steady hand and your leadership during those was a great source of strength for me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your character. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being a mentor to me, Mr. Vice President.
It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Did I get that one right? Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the republic.
America first.
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans.
The great Trump recovery.
America will never be a socialist country. I will fight for you with every breath in my body.
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, 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 the Russians.
Russia.
And I will never, ever let you down.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this.
The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Together, we will make America strong again. You know what it's about? Fraud, fake ballots. We will make America wealthy again. They are trying to steal the election.
Now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of special operations forces.
We will make America proud again. And watch, please, those mail-in ballots. We will make America safe again. And in millions and millions of ballots. Their vote is under what they thought they needed. They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you. If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Congress, the chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Devolution Power Hour. Always and unfortunately, I'm joined by Bernie Bright. Not always, as usual, and unfortunately, I'm joined by Bernie Bright. Bernie Bright, sir, how are you doing on this pre-Thanksgiving Eve? Thanksgiving Eve?
Not bad, but feels weird this year. I guess I was aware that Thanksgiving was tomorrow, but it just feels like it's not late November and it's already late November. It's just weird timing. Yeah, 2025 was quick, I feel like.
It's kind of a blur, for sure. Yeah. Trump's been in office
I guess having an infant will do that as well, but...
Yeah, you're probably sleep deprived.
Yeah.
This will be your first Thanksgiving with a child. That's something to be thankful for, other than me this year. That's cool.
That's true. Yeah.
I got your book, by the way.
I saw.
Threw it away.
Yeah. Well, at least he threw it away before there was Thanksgiving stuff in the trash, because then the bit wouldn't have worked as well. You would have had gravy all over it.
Yeah, people are like, he definitely emptied out that trash can before he threw it away.
I was like, no, I bet he didn't.
No,
he would commit.
No, I didn't. But I did take it out of the trash.
Nothing less.
It is back there. I just haven't opened it or read it since reading that very rude inscription.
It's a good advertisement for the durability of such a incredibly manufactured product. I will say something I was very concerned about in this whole process was the United States Postal Service, because we didn't go through a private carrier. We went through them because they had the best option, and they've been great. We literally have gotten one return, and that was today, because it seems like somebody gave us the wrong address or it was undeliverable. We'll figure that out.
Fault.
Yeah, but we sent out 300 something packages, and almost all of them have delivered. There's a couple that haven't yet. Probably Brad and Abby.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's probably it. Cool.
It's making its way up there via wagon.
I don't know how they get mail up there. They're in literally an island that they have to take hopper planes or boats off of the mainland. Anyway, Thanksgiving Eve, we do have plenty to talk about. It's been this week in the news has been a shit show. Absolute show. Everybody's got AIDS. And I don't know if it's because the holidays are coming up or what it is, but it's been super gay, and we're going to talk about it. There's also the National Guard shooting, and maybe we should start off our show tonight with Trump's address.
Yeah.
We could play that, and then we can get a quick word from our sponsors, and then we can get into some of the other topics. And I definitely want to go through, I've been going through on my show, the Emerald Robinson thread, and I want to do it on this show as well, just because I think it's fitting for this show, and there's plenty to discuss, and I am not on the same page as a lot of people are with that, so I think we should do that. There's some, what else is there? Some indictments got dropped. Oh, by the way, before we even do Trump's thing, did you see that I am now the face of QAnon because of the New York Times?
The official promoter, right?
Yes, QAnon adjacent.
But I think
promoter.
It was implied that you created, you were the inspiration behind the drops. I think that's kind of what I took out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was jealous, I will say, because I finally, I was mad a couple of years ago. It was Media Matters hit pieces coming out against Badlands, and I never made the cut. I was never in there. And then NPR finally recognized me as, I think I was a QAnon, what were we called in that one?
I don't know. Well, that one I was QAnon adjacent. I don't know about you. I didn't read.
You were QAnon adjacent.
Yeah.
Okay. I think I was officially a QAnon influencer. So one of the biggest designations I feel like you can get, and then you have one-upped everybody because New York Times is the biggest, and co-founder of QAnon, promoter,
co-founder of New York Times, basically. And I did think it was funny. Trump today, and this is totally a common decodable, he came out super hard against the New York Times.
Yeah.
And about their fake news stories.
Obviously, it was about this.
Major attaboy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, I just thought I would throw that out there. But let's start things off with Trump's address to the nation after today. And if you guys haven't heard, in Washington, D.C., there was a shooting of 2 National Guardsmen. I honestly don't even know if they have survived or if they passed away. Last I saw, they were both
Last
in
I
critical
looked,
condition.
they were in critical condition, but not.
Yeah, the rumor
they
is
were alive.
the rumor is I guess not the rumor, but the shooter is some fat naked guy, and he apparently is an Afghan national. Like, here's a picture of him. He came in because of the Biden administration, and I don't know if it was because of our withdrawal over there. They, brought a bunch of refugees in, if that's when he came in, but it was during the Biden administration. So very unfortunate. But let's take a listen to this.
My great fellow Americans, earlier today, on the eve of the Thanksgiving holiday, 2 members of the National Guard serving in Washington, D.C., were shot at point-blank range in a monstrous ambush-style attack just steps away from the White House. They had been deputized as part of the most successful public safety and national security mission in the history of our nation's capital, the D.C. Safe and Beautiful Task Force, which has achieved an unprecedented reduction in violent crime and crimes of all type. This heinous assault was an act of evil, an act of hatred, and an act of terror. It was a crime against our entire nation. It was a crime against humanity. The hearts of all Americans tonight are with those 2 members of the West Virginia National Guard and their families. The love of our entire country is pouring out for them, and we are lifting them up in our prayers. As we are filled with anguish and grief for those who were shot, we're also filled with righteous anger and ferocious resolve. As President of the United States, I am determined to ensure that the animal who perpetrated this atrocity pays the steepest possible price. I can report tonight that, based on the best available information, the Department of Homeland Security is confident that the suspect in custody is a foreigner who entered our country from Afghanistan, a hellhole on earth. He was flown in by the Biden administration in September 2021 on those infamous flights that everybody was talking about. Nobody knew who was coming in. Nobody knew anything about it. His status was extended under legislation signed by President Biden, a disastrous president, the worst in the history of our country. This attack underscores the single greatest national security threat facing our nation. The last administration let in 20 million unknown and unvetted foreigners from all over the world, from places that you don't want to even know about. No country can tolerate such a risk to our very survival. An example is Minnesota, where hundreds of thousands of Somalians are ripping off our country and ripping apart that once great state. Billions of dollars are lost, and gangs of Somalians come from a country that doesn't even have a government, no laws, no water, no military, no nothing. As their representatives in our country preach to us about our Constitution and how our country is no good. We're not going to put up with these kind of assaults on law and order by people who shouldn't even be in our country. We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country. If they can't love our country, we don't want them. America will never bend and never yield in the face of terror. And at the same time, we will not be deterred from the mission these service members were so nobly fulfilling. That is why tonight I can announce that I have directed the Department of War to mobilize an additional 500 troops to help protect our capital city. We will make America totally safe again, and we will bring the perpetrator of this barbaric attack to swift and certain justice if the bullets going in the opposite direction haven't already done that. During this time of the year, when we gather at home with loved ones, these 2 patriots were wearing the uniform of our country, patrolling the streets of our capital. They had taken a selfless oath to defend our nation against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And that is exactly what they were doing when they were gunned down in a savage attack. I want to express my extraordinary gratitude to every member of the United States military who is deployed tonight at home and abroad. I also want to thank the Secret Service and the D.C. Metropolitan Police Department for their work today. This Thanksgiving, I ask every family to say a prayer for the two great heroes who were so horribly shot, and for their loved ones. Please say a prayer. May God bless them and comfort them, and may God bless and protect the United States of America. Thank you and good night.
Well, there you have it. There was an update. Somebody just tagged me in this, and this is from Mike Davis. Take it for what it's worth. From a law enforcement source. He's an Afghan national born in 96, armed with a revolver. He ambushed a female guardsman, shooting her in the head, and then a male guardsman shot multiple times. They never saw it coming. Both guardsmen were armed. A major in the National Guard who was unarmed and doing his spot checks of the guardsman was in the block, heard the shots, and turned to see the shooter who spotted him. He took cover behind a truck. The suspect came for the major, who pulled out his pocket knife and bravely took on the suspect, reloading his revolver. Major began stabbing the suspect in the head. Another guardsman in the area who was armed then drew his pistol and shot the suspect twice, once in the leg, once in the butt. Major stated that when the suspect began shooting, he heard him shout, Allahu Akbar. I just briefed, omitted. Now you too. Now you know too. Anyway. So yeah, I don't know, man. Like, the timing of this is certainly suspect. And let's just imagine this is a psyop and not believe the full story. Because, maybe it's all true. Maybe it's not all true. Got to look at it both ways. If you believe it's true, then the story is what it is. If it's not true, the timing of it sure is interesting, because there has been a lot of legal battles surrounding Trump's deployment of National Guard troops to make the country safe.
Right.
And this, I would imagine, provides some justification for him to keep doing what he's doing. And he just deployed another 500 troops. And I think he asked for a stay with one of the judges on one of their orders. I don't, the whole thing's, it's crazy. If it is real and there are, people that were shot, obviously prayers are with them and hope for a recovery, full recovery. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this is what can get a little tough to navigate, I suppose, if you're just in this battle space. We talk about psyops all the time, right? And all of our audience talks about psyops all the time. Most of the people that are researching, whether it's Q drops, devolution, anything, if they call themselves a truther, they're familiar with psyops. We've been talking about that a lot recently. But in the initial emotional radius of any kind of event, if you do talk about it through the lens of a psyop, people get emotional about that. If you talk about it through the lens of repeating everything that's being reported at face value, people go after you for saying, how can you not understand this is a psyop, or you're just believing
it's a movie, full control,
all the news. Yeah. So anyway, that's why, again, a lot of people still misunderstand the simplest thing I think I've ever said. But from the start of when I was on the show, I was always talking about bicameral thinking. And this is when it is useful. These are the circumstances in which it is useful. It doesn't mean you have to choose one or the other, but it means that you should compile a logical framework around each paradigm. The paradigm in which everything that or I shouldn't say that you need to construct a paradigm where everything we're being told is true, but a paradigm you just left off on. National Guardsmen were shot by somebody in DC, and, the event happened. It was an actual event. And then there's the other paradigm where it did not happen, or at least nothing close to what we were told. And, when people wonder kind of where you lean on something like this, it is always notable to see what the reaction to an event is. One of the other kind of foundational theories I've been talking about forever, I call it the reverse Hegelian dialectic, but it's essentially my version of explaining what I think is going on with quote-unquote white hat psyops, and that is rooted in the reversal of the Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution. And yeah, when Donald Trump gets on there and gives this address and ends it with more troops to DC, The mandate is codified, ironclad, and to your point, if there was any doubt in the legal theater of it being codified, that just got a heavy weighting, the thumbs on the scale on one side there. Like you said, it is really just objectively hard to look at that as a coincidence. If it did happen as reported, and if we, I think it's difficult to imagine that was a random act. But if it did happen as reported, it kind of, I struggle to see how it makes sense for the quote unquote enemy to do something like this under these circumstances. It's hard to figure out what the goal would be.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being totally honest, I lean more towards this was a legit shooting. And my mindset on these, like I used to, I don't want to come off insensitive, but it's going to regardless. So I used to like not care one way or the other. Like if it's real, whatever. If it's not, whatever. It didn't affect me personally. I'm just going to monitor the psyops. The Minnesota school shooting that took place at the church, I knew people who knew people. Like, so like one of my mom's best friends was related to a victim. One of the girls who was shot in the neck, she was like in intensive care for a while. I got like picture updates of her and while she was recovering. Like that was a real one. And that kind of changed my perspective on some of that stuff.
I get it.
So
it's easy to say it's easy to say it's not happening for us when it's totally separated.
Yeah. So with this, like it's a difficult situation, but the psyops that are coming off of it right off the bat are, number one, like I showed you, the emergency stay on that order that was passed down last week. Trump administration files emergency motion to keep National Guard in D.C. The Trump administration today asked a federal appeals court for an emergency stay of last week's order from a federal judge to remove the National Guard from Washington, D.C. And here he just threw in another 500. The other side of this, where the psyops, at least the narrative warfare is going to really take off, I think, is with the seditious six or whatever that were just in the news this week. Those six Democratic politicians who came out and put the video, and everybody was up in arms about it. Again, I didn't really get emotionally attached to that story. While I understand, that was probably sedition. I thought it was more so implied than direct. And Trump, he implied hanging them, wasn't as direct. Either way, he could get a lot of play off of this right here too, with a shooting of a National Guard person, I think. And so I expect to see that in the coming days, because the Democrats were really trying to play victim and oh no, Trump wants to kill us and all these things. And now you could argue, and people will argue, that this coming right on the heels of that video, they're going to draw that connection. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter, because it's the narrative they're going to push. And I expect Trump to push it really, really hard, probably in the coming days too. So we'll see. And I am hearing that they may have passed away.
Ugh. Yeah, I saw the initial reports were that they were dead. Then it said that they weren't. It's crazy that that's happening a lot lately, right, with these things. We're getting a lot of, no pun intended, but itchy trigger fingers with people who are not just quote-unquote reporters, but like politicians are tweeting out stuff about these things, like right when they happen, which is it's another weird thing, right, where you're like, okay, even if you want to take psyops off the table, take everything as reported, why are fucking sitting congressmen just like tweeting stuff out immediately, right? What's the incentive structure?
They're social media influencers.
Yeah, exactly. That's they're following the same social incentive of any other quote unquote influencer, which is pretty gross in these kind of circumstances. But yeah, in terms of the seditious six, it made me think of Higgins. We often bring that up in the context of the battle space, Trump operating in a certain battle space. And I would agree with you in terms of the reaction to those videos. It didn't bother me any more than anything else the media or sitting congressmen have been saying or doing over the last 10 years. We take it as a given that they're essentially a mix of illegitimate, unelected, and sometimes treasonous. Not all of them, maybe, but and gay. But I think that, to your point, this DC thing, it just means the shoe's kind of on the other foot now. Like, while I agree that a lot of what they were saying was implied, maybe, and people were kind of overreacting to it, the bottom line is, and I think that this is good overall, we have clearly shifted in terms of the mass psychological battle space to a point where saying stuff like that now as a sitting congressman, it hits different than it did in 2017 when it was just like the orange man, say whatever you want about him. There's a lot more like grassroots American pushback of any of this shit coming out of the media or out of Congress. So whether anything happens to them from a legal perspective, I think part of Trump's like really dialed up response to what they said, it's part of him like checking them and being like, you might face real consequences for this type of shit. Like, we're not fucking around as much. And part of that is also him testing the American people and being like, what, obviously for the last week, there's been a big dialogue going on among the American public of whether or not that was treason. And I don't think we were getting that to as big a degree in his first term.
Yeah, and a couple people in the chat making a point, like a PSYOP doesn't have to be like an actual PSYOP for it to be used as a PSYOP, if that makes sense. Like it could have been just a totally legit event, and it's going to be used like everything is. This is an info war. My issue with the seditious six thing, I've talked about this before, I mean, there have been people online all over the place that have said, in my opinion, far worse things that are, I could argue are far more seditious. I mean, they're not coming from necessarily sitting congressmen and women, but either way, I think just 48-hour, 72-hour rule with this. Yeah, it is a big one. But I mean, if you start doing that, if they're going to actually like go down that hole and pursue sedition, I'd be all for it. Like, yeah, go for it, because you can make the case that was sedition, and I'd be totally on board and agree with you. Just do it. Stop talking about it. Just do it.
Yeah.
Like otherwise, this is all just we're scissoring on Twitter again, and I am, it's not that enjoyable. You get chafed. I go through so much soft disclosure. I'm sick of the Twitter scissoring. That's where I'm at. But we're going to do a lot of Twitter scissoring with Emerald Robinson's thread here in a little bit.
Nice.
So that'll be a good time for everybody.
Yeah, well, once more, it seems like it was most of these things seem to be sort of Trump either opening up or amplifying massive public debates on a narrative level. And then on an actual level, a lot of the times a month goes by and we're like, what was that story?
Here is supposedly a picture of the National Guardswoman who was shot in the head. Damn. Anyway, we do have a couple sponsors. We should probably get to those, and then I do want to get into the Emerald Robinson thread, because I think that'll be a fun one to go through. I think it'll be good to, I don't know. I think it's so dumb. If I'm being totally honest, I think it's clickbait, and I think I can prove that. But we'll talk about it. And I'm curious to get your opinion, because I don't think have you read through that thread yet? And you can't even call it a thread. It's the worst thread in Twitter history.
Yeah, first of all, she doesn't know how to thread, so like, sorry.
Well, she said she did that on purpose because she didn't want to be like the whole thread to be put down by the algorithm. So she did one post at a time. We'll get to it. Let's first talk about our sponsors tonight's show. First up, we have some CB Distillery. Black Friday is here, and CB Distillery is going big. Their biggest sale of the year is on right now. You can save up to 60% on everything with code Rumble. But hurry, this deal is only around for a few days. Look, if holiday stress has you running on empty, you need to hear about CBD from CB Distillery. They've got natural, clean solutions for stress, sleep, mood, focus, pretty much everything you need to actually enjoy this season. And you can get all your holiday shopping done. Give the gift of CBD for better sleep and treat your gym buddy to pain relief stick after workouts. And don't forget to grab a little calm for yourself. This is the perfect time to stock up. Again, save up to 60%. That's some huge savings, guys. During the CBD Distillery's Black Friday sale, head to cbdistillery.com and use promo code RUMBLE. That's cbdistillery.com, promo code RUMBLE. And specific product availability depends on individual state regulations. We also got some Brickhouse Nutrition. Do doctors have Black Friday sales? The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition do. They just announced their Black Friday 30% off sale, the biggest sale of the year. The most impressive health and nutrition products in the industry are now 30% off, like Lean, the doctor-formulated weight loss supplement for people who want to lose meaningful weight without injections, and 30% off Creatone, creatine designed just for women to help you look leaner, in shape, and toned without extra dieting or exercise. even 30% off Field of Greens, the only super fruit and vegetable drink shown in a university study to actually slow aging. And only Field of Greens promises better health results your doctor will notice. Every Brickhouse product, from better sleep to superior collagen, is 30% off. But hurry, because these Black Friday deals go pretty darn fast. Visit brickhousesale.com and save 30%. That's brickhousesale.com. There you go. And we do have a couple other sponsors. We'll get to those a little bit later. But how's the chat doing? See Chris in the chat. That's always humbling.
Humbling.
Yeah.
Don't build them up, man.
Well, I mean, you never watch our Saturday show, so.
I watch like 30 minutes of it usually.
Yeah, well, Chris watches all of this show, so.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
That's why it's humbling.
Weak.
It's at least one of my co-hosts is committed to the cause. But whatever.
There's too much stuff out there, man.
I'm just
we got to do the shows and figure out what each other think live.
Let's do this, okay? Emerald Robinson. And if I'm being honest, I don't know where she came from. Like, I don't know.
I don't either. I was embarrassed to ask that. I've seen her name, but like, I don't.
X-Newsmax, XOAN.
I don't follow these, like, alt media, new MSM.
She's on Lindell TV. She's very connected to Byrne and then Mike Lindell, obviously. So she comes out with this, and she talks about election stuff quite a bit. She's probably one of the more prominent ones, but she's coming at it from a different but very confident level, like a different place. It's weird, and I think you'll see that vibe as we go through this thread. So yesterday she posts, or this was like 3 days ago. Dear Elon Musk, I'm reaching out for comment on a story. It was October 2024. You were staying on property at Mar-a-Lago. You met with a man who provided the technical details how the voting machines are rigged. Then you went to Trump rally in Pennsylvania and discussed Dominion. Break. Pause. Next day, it's time to tell you the story about how the 2024 election fraud was stopped. Are you ready? And I was not ready for this.
You
This
have to
story.
say stop every time, like it's a old timey. What do they call those? What would they call? What would they have called those communication devices? The only thing I know it from is one of my favorite cartoons as a kid was Balto, and in Balto, there's scenes going back and forth where I think it's the sled driver is like sending a message to somebody at some point, and he's saying stop after every line.
Isn't that like Morse code?
I don't think so. Telegraph. It's a telegraph? People are saying? But why is he speaking?
I don't know, man.
Maybe somebody's maybe it's dictation. Anyway, you should say that after every...
Probably not that big of a deal.
Great movie, though.
Balto? I haven't watched it in like 20 years, 25 years, but I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's still kicks butt. We'll see. I'll have to watch it with my kids sometime. Okay, let's go through this. We'll stop as we go through. The timeline changes very quick. Like one tweet, we're in June. The next tweet, we're in July. Clearly nothing happened in that month. It's just, you'll get the flow for it. You'll also learn what a catamaran is. I did not know what a catamaran was until I read this. And
a boat?
Yeah, I didn't know. See, the only boat that I'm familiar with is a yacht, because that's the only boat I own. I have like multiple of them.
Right. You've got a dime a dozen of them, right?
And I sometimes forget there's other types of watercrafts out there. And a
catamarans are exclusively for getting drunk on.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll hear about a drunk story through a storm later on. A few weeks before the 2024 election, Senator Mullen and former Senator David Perdue finally arranged a meeting between Trump advisor Susie Wiles and the one man who could explain exactly how Americans' election systems are rigged. The meeting took place at Mar-a-Lago, and you might think the man that she's referring to is Chris Paul, but it's not. There was some other man who was not to be named at any point throughout this entire thread.
Yeah. The prerequisite for everybody involved in this story is that they believe elections are real, but that they can save them.
For $15 in Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Literally $15. That's all it takes. Susie Wiles had publicly said that election fraud was not real and that people who thought so were crazy. And I don't know if I've ever seen her publicly say that, but maybe she has. I don't know. After the briefing, she didn't know what to think. She asked for a piece of cake and she ate it slowly. probably ate it dramatically. She probably got some on her lip
Why
a little bit.
is
She had to take a
why is she
napkin,
saying this?
wipe it off. I don't know. She's probably going to turn this into a book at some point or a movie. It's like a screenplay.
Jesus.
Then she made the decision Trump's team should be briefed too. So this was Susie Wiles is the reason Trump saved the election, because had she ate that cake and had an upset stomach or something and not decided Trump should be briefed, we never would have saved the election.
So she's head hopping, by the way, which is a big peeve of mine when it comes to POV writing. How does Emerald know what was in Susie Wiles' head? Is she an omniscient narrator? Because it seems that she is acting as an omniscient narrator for real people who were doing things. But anyway,
I don't know, man. I'm just reading. I'm just reading.
I hold you partly responsible for the content.
I will not speak for Emerald Robinson here. In the end, the man stayed at Mar-a-Lago for 3 days to brief everyone. Everyone. From bellhop to pool guy, everyone that was at Mar-a-Lago was briefed. There was only man who Wiles trusted to confirm it all. That was Elon Musk. A call was made. The man found himself in a room with Musk. I wonder what room. I wish you would have specified the room. Was it a bathroom? Was it a closet? Was it the ballroom? We'll never know. But in the movie, we can have some editorialization when we get there. Musk declined to sit through a full briefing. Just give me your data. And that's an exact quote.
That's implied to be an exact quote, but it's interesting whether or not that is an exact
Emerald
quote.
Robinson was not there, by the way. She's
just making up direct quotes.
Hey, I'm just the reader, just the narrator. Okay. So Elon Musk read the AI summary of the technical data, and then he picked up his phone and made a call. Quote, "We have a problem. It's true." Then Musk got on a plane to host a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. Who did he call? Doesn't say who he called. He just made a call.
A call. There's a lot of mystery so far. Presumably this was to another man or woman.
Maybe he could have made a call to his own voicemail. We don't know. Then Musk got on a plane to host a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. It was October 17th. Comms there as the official Q promoter adjacent guy. October 17th. That is a comm. 2024. Musk got on stage and attacked Dominion. Elon Musk said at the rally, "There's always the question of Dominion voting machines. It's weird that they're used in Philadelphia and Maricopa County, but not in a lot of other places. Doesn't that seem like a heck of a coincidence?" Musk was warning us the system was rigged.
Because nobody knew until then.
Nobody had thought so before. Patrick Byrne, Emerald is breaking the story at last. Number 6. How could the 2024 steal be stopped a few weeks before the election? The man who briefed Musk had a team, Patrick Byrne and Gary Bernstein. This team had recruited a dozen people who knew how the rigged system was built in Venezuela. They had worked for Smartmatic and Maduro.
Dastardliness.
Yeah. This group of whistleblowers were hiding in a hotel in Gstaad, Switzerland. I think that's how you say that. Before the 2024 election. That's where General Flynn flew to see them. Flynn asked, "How long has election fraud been going on?" They said Venezuela now rigs it in 72 countries for the last 20 years.
Venezuela is in charge of
the world's
elections in 72 countries?
Yeah, and yet somehow the countries whose elections Venezuela is in charge of has been trying to regime change and overthrow Venezuela for how long? Like, that makes sense, right? Like, you control the elections in all these countries.
Right.
So you control who gets elected in those countries. And the people you install try to overthrow you.
Yeah.
Logical.
Ungrateful, right? Like, if Maduro's the kingmaker,
move.
Yeah, like, come on, guys. Biting the hand that feeds.
That's a little weird, but whatever. People gonna be assholes. I get it. The whistleblowers from Venezuela had video meetings with Musk's team and Trump's team to explain the technical details of the election fraud. The most important detail, the Dominion IP addresses had been located. Dun, dun, dun. All it cost was $15 in Bitcoin. Not 15 Bitcoin, just $15 in Bitcoin from an anonymous Japanese account. I don't know why $15 from Japan is important, but it is. That is probably the most important part of this story, guys. That's how valuable Bitcoin really is.
2024, right?
All it takes is $15, and you can stop election fraud. That's it.
So the XRP people make sure to put their Bitcoin shot in here.
The relevant data and IP addresses were now verified. And that's when Senator Mullen came to the rescue again. A cybersecurity team got the data 3 days before the 2024 election. The Dominion office in Serbia was hit. Their computers were useless. Again, for $15, they made probably good supercomputers, maybe even MacBooks. I don't know. They don't describe the computers here, but all it took was $15 and they were useless now. It's crazy. On election day, nobody knew if the cybersecurity team had been successful knocking out the Serbian computers. Everybody at Mar-a-Lago had to wait for the results without certainty. The man who had briefed Musk flew to Oslo the next day, or that day. His team would flee the USA if they failed. So this part is also a little unbelievable to me, because if you're running cybersecurity operations, and this is coming from somebody who has not infiltrated other computer networks and like done that stuff, but I have to imagine, like when you're doing that, like you probably know whether or not your op was successful or not. I'd imagine. I really don't know, but that seems logical. Like you're not just like out there doing cyber stuff and like shot in the dark, hope that worked, and just wait to see if it did or not. That seems counterintuitive.
This is how close we came, though.
Came super close. K or Rumble, you guys are too smart for your own good. When the details are released, you will have some crow to eat, I fear. I would love to eat that crow. If the details would actually come, that would be great. I would love the details. The point is we don't have the fucking details here.
Yeah. As an aside here, the shaming from Trust the Plan fucking idiots, when it comes to just reading aloud, I'm saying people like that have their own conception of a plan, which is why I said in chat, would you like to explain your opinion or just make vague allusions to a plan you're not read in on? None of us are read in on. If you're reading a thread that is purporting to be disclosing the most earth-shattering revelation of all time about the most important topic that we've been discussing for years, then the onus is on whoever is putting the thread out.
That's a great point, and I think something people are missing. Maybe we should have prefaced it with this. We have been talking about election fraud on this network for 4 years. I've written about
way
it
before Emerald Robinson.
Well, no, I mean she's been talking about it for a while too. So like, we know about election fraud. We know about Dominion. We know about Venezuela. We know about Smartmatic. We know about all those countries. Trump's draft executive order from December 16th of 2020 lists all these things out. It was right on the heels of the meeting with Sidney Powell, Patrick Byrne, General Flynn. In that executive order, it called for the military to interdict in our elections. It talked about how all these different foreign countries were involved in stealing our elections. I know it all. I've read all that shit. This is not giving us anything new. This whole story is just feeding confirmation bias. And wait till we get to the part where the proof, because that's coming. Like, to me, this is clickbait, guys. Putting out a thread one tweet at a time over the course of 3 days without actually giving us any new information, telling a
or evidence
story.
Of any of it.
Yeah, that's not new. That's clickbait. That's all it is. She even has a part in here. She Laura Loomers us and is like, make sure you turn your notifications on. I'm dropping more stuff today. Like if I had actual damning information to reveal about one of the most important issues of our time, which is election fraud, I would write a Substack or one Twitter thread or story or whatever. I put it all out at once with every bit of information that I have and be done with it. I wouldn't slow drip like this, because you're not actually giving us information. You're clickbaiting. That's what this is to me. And yeah, and if you guys have a different opinion of it, that's fine. I'm not trying to knock Emerald Robinson for her work. She knows more people than I do. She's more connected than I am. She should have more access to more behind the scenes information, but she hasn't actually said a single thing here that does anything other than feed confirmation bias.
I just want to hit on that point, is that the weirdest pushback that we get out of questioning things like this, doesn't even have to be this specific instance, is that somehow it means we don't want it to be true or that we don't believe in election fraud. That's the craziest thing. We believe in election fraud more than anybody believes in election fraud. We are the elections are fake network, essentially. Obviously not everybody. And there's gradients to what different Badlanders think about that, Chris Paul being the patron saint of it. But the idea that questioning a reported or a purported reveal of mass election fraud is somehow defending the election system is the opposite. And depending on where the rest of this goes, that's my concern, I guess, to just get it out of the way. The concern of ops like this, to me, is less of even what you just said, that it's clickbait and whatever, even though I think it is. I think that threads like this ultimately are kind of defending the system, because the secret MacGyver white hats unrigging elections thing ultimately decreases the impetus for people to think that we need to throw the whole election system out, in my opinion. Some would disagree with that. But ultimately, if you're like, yeah, thank God there was a plan to unrig the election, then you're liable to rely on white hats, quote unquote, unrigging elections in perpetuity rather than throwing out the election system.
Yeah. Because if they can successfully unrig an election, that means our elections are fine. We just need Trump to do the right thing. And ultimately, as I said today on my show and yesterday on my show, you'll see jabs here coming up. And the timing of this is not lost on me. We've just gone through this whole psyop where everybody's trying to divide the MAGA movement every which way. And this thread just continually knocks Trump for like not understanding that elections are rigged and not being good at hiring people, and like Trump's just not good enough. Like, to me, this is another op to kind of like pull some people away from Trump and maybe split up some of his administration. I don't know. There's a lot of stories floating around that he's going to fire a bunch of people. Maybe true, maybe not. I don't know. But this is, you'll see. Let's keep going through here, the dramatic reading. And yes, I know Alpha and Josh have been, they're keying in on this and they're looking at it a different way than we are. Yeah. I think this is hilarious. They think it's more serious. And that's what's great about Badlands, guys. We come at the same story from different sides and we disagree on stuff. We agree on some stuff. That's the beauty of it. We don't all agree and we're all still friends at the end of the day, regardless of us being more right than them. They'll get over that. Yeah.
We're used to that.
No, just kidding. But they do a great job. The great show. Encourage you guys to watch it and get all their perspectives. Get everybody's perspectives. Just whatever. Anyway, let's keep going. Imagine the moment on election day. Trump had no idea if he would win. So Patrick Byrne watched results from Qatar. Gary Bernstein watched from Switzerland. All of them would be hunted down if the 2024 election fraud was successful, and the USA would be finished. Trump was upset with his own staff after Elon Musk verified the fraud was real. He'd been gaslit for 4 years by his team to drop the topic. In fact, his staff hired a Cuban intelligence asset in 2020 to investigate the fraud, to lie to Trump that our elections were fair. That's weird because I seem to remember Trump over the past 4 years continually saying that our elections were fake and 2020 was stolen and he was going to return the diamonds and putting out reports and the whole election case. Like, he never stopped talking about how fraudulent our elections are. So this tweet seems a little weird to me.
Yeah, there's a lot in here. I'm just trying not to stop every time, but I'll write some notes down on some of these.
You can stop every time. Just don't make every stop one of your classic 5-minuters.
Well, just on the point you just made, a couple things in that last couple tweets. And again, go by Cameron. You could think that this is all a good disclosure op or a necessary sifting or whatever. I'm going to take it at face value. Take this all at face value. Not that it happened, but that Emerald Robinson is claiming it happened. Trump had no idea, right? So to the point you led into those couple tweets with, it's like, okay, here we go, guys. All the trust the plan people. What is anchored to that plan that I believe is real is that Donald Trump knows all about it and is a massive part of it, right? None of this is conducive to that. All of this is alleging that Donald Trump doesn't know what the fuck is going on, which is a classic par for the course. And the other implication in here that I think there's more of when I skimmed it earlier is that Robinson and whoever she's talking about, or whoever she is talking about, there's a suggestion going on that there's a super secret team of white hats that aren't
jumping the gun.
No, I mean, she even says here that Trump had been gaslit for years. That's what I'm responding to. Trump said he'd been gaslit for years by his team. So I keyed in on that. By his team. Who is Trump's team, right? So that's something to keep in our minds when we're reading threads like this. She is de facto saying that the people who saved the election were not Trump's quote-unquote team. They were secret white hats outside of the Trump orbit. So that's why it's important not just to play with this as clickbait, but to play with this as something that is not good for Donald Trump, because she's now saying that the people that were around Donald Trump when it came to election fraud, they're the bad guys? And
I don't know what I'm confused, but let's keep
she
going.
says he's been gaslit.
She clarified, like, this post. Yeah. Did you read her post? Because she does get into more about her his team. That's why I said you're like jumping the gun. Because he gets into like the Three Musketeers and all this stuff, and it gets really entertaining. So, I think what you're saying will make more sense and have more clarity here in a little bit. I'm posting tweets one at a time so that X cannot hide or deboost the entire thread. My sources: the team that saved the 2024 election. Doesn't name the source, just the team, whoever that is. My proof: Venezuela is now surrounded by American warships. That's the proof. That's all the proof we need. Is that?
Mm-hmm.
There's no other reason that we are potentially going to go to war in another country and remove intervene in somebody else's sovereignty than
the
that.
Cartels, none of the stuff Trump's talking about, none of that.
We don't even know if we're going to do it yet. But that's the proof. That's not proof of anything, guys.
Right.
That's like I could write a thread and be like, we the Washington D.C. police stole the election. We stopped it though with the team. The proof: we just sent more National Guard to D.C.
Yeah.
That doesn't prove shit.
So were the cartel boats transporting ballots?
Probably. Hey, that's a good point. That's a great question. Were they catamarans or were they boats? Or is a catamaran
those
a type
are just
of
regular boats? I don't think they were having too much fun on those boats.
Okay. Well, yeah, I can't wait for the catamaran part. That's a great story. Let's call the team that saved the 2024 election the Three Musketeers. I feel like
sounds serious.
It does sound serious. I don't know if
gayest kind of and when it comes to swashbuckling adventurers, probably the gayest.
We'll see that's the man who briefed Musk and Gary Bernstein and Patrick Byrne. So a team, Three Musketeers, and then one man. So one man is now called the Three Musketeers, who briefed Musk, Gary Bernstein, and Patrick Byrne. I've now interviewed them many times. Along with Smartmatic whistleblowers from Venezuela, I've confirmed key facts with Odie and I. She just hasn't shown us any of those key facts. Here's where the story gets really wild, because it hasn't been wild yet. This is where it gets wild, guys. Hold on to your britches. The Three Musketeers were also the ones who warned Trump about election fraud after the 2020 election. Where do you think Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani got their information about Smartmatic? And Judge Janine got them connected.
I'm sorry, but in the previous thread before that, in the previous tweet before this, I'm genuinely not even trying to be a dick here, but her syntax and everything, literally doesn't work. So is she saying that Musk, Bernstein, and Byrne are the Three Musketeers? Or is she saying they were briefed by the Three Musketeers?
I don't know.
Or that the man knows the Three Musketeers? I'm just literally, it's difficult to even understand what she's trying to say.
Yeah, it gets better, man. Just hold those britches, like I said.
All right.
Patrick Byrne, this is the big one. Tune in. Emerald Robinson. So Trump had good intel about the fraud 2 days after the 2020 election, but then Trump called in Kushner to gather a legal team to handle it all. Kushner's team was briefed next, but they dismissed the intel and did nothing. Rudy and Sidney were hung out to dry with no help. And again, guys, this is where, we've talked about this quite a bit about the election fraud of 2020 and the meeting that Sidney Powell and Byrne and Flynn had with him. I've talked about that draft executive order. I think he had that as an option. I think he chose to do something else, like implement devolution. But these guys, they're blaming it on Kushner. A lot of people like to hate on Kushner. I don't know one way or the other, but Trump seems to keep him inner circle, and he keeps, making shit happen. So I don't know. Anyway, let's return to 2024. Trump has won. It's Christmas. The whistleblowers from Venezuela are moved from Gstad to Bahamas on tourist visas to protect them. They're being hunted by the cartel. We were told that if they didn't stop the steal earlier, that they would be hunted and have to flee the USA. Now they did stop the steal, and they're still being hunted and are going to have to flee. You'll see here soon. They need to get into the USA to testify and bring down the rigged voting machines. So Patrick, it's February 2025. So we're jumping all over the place. Time is now up. With their visas expired, the whistleblowers would be sent back to Venezuela and killed. So Patrick Byrne got a catamaran, which is a boat, not a yacht, but a boat, out of Florida, and he sailed in the worst storm possible to the Bahamas in order to smuggle them all illegally into the USA. So I just want you guys to think about that for a second, what she said here. Patrick Byrne sailed a catamaran through the worst storm possible. Like, can you imagine how bad that storm must have been for it to be the worst storm possible?
Yeah.
Like, think Hurricane Katrina.
Yeah.
But
this is all very serious, so we have to take each bit as face value, right? Because that's the rule now. If all the other claims are true, then
it's like Sharknado.
Patrick Byrne. Yeah.
Patrick Byrne sailed through Sharknadoes.
He's like Mark Wahlberg in The Perfect Storm, kid.
Yeah, but it's worse than that.
That is true, because that was just the perfect storm, not the worst storm imaginable.
Not imaginable, possible.
Yeah.
Right. The worst storm possible is probably the one that like destroys all life on Earth.
Like Noah.
That must be possible.
Yeah.
So
the new Noah, Patrick Byrne.
Yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, why is this happening? After all, Trump's now back in office. The most important whistleblowers in American history are stranded because Team Trump does not have its act together again. That dastardly darn Trump and his team that just can't get it right. He can just never hire the right people. They're blowing it. Finally, Tom Homan saves the day and sends 2 guys from D.C. to bring them all into the USA, which I feel like Tom Homan is part of Trump's team. And so if the story she's saying is correct, Tom Homan, a.k.a. Trump's team, did get them to the United States, according to the story.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
it's
far
April.
The only baddies on Trump team that she's named is Kushner. Kushner bad.
Oh, just wait.
Okay.
They get named. We get names.
All right.
It's April now. Time flies when you're having fun. Trump authorizes task force on election fraud. DOJ, CIA, DHS, DNI guys meet the whistleblowers. Then the agencies start a fight over who has control of the investigation. And I don't know what kind of fight it was. Probably a fist fight, I'm assuming. Maybe some sort of caged wrestling match. But a fight was started to control this investigation.
We're told that Scott Bessent gets into fights all the time.
Yeah.
The financial media has been reporting that like 3 separate times in 2022, including the fabled origins of Elon Musk's black eye. So
it's probably safe to assume that the Treasury was involved in this fight over control of this investigation.
Like Bessent walks in a room, and if you're like, Scott, I was thinking a quarter basis point, like would be, and he just hits you to set the tone, right? It's like when you go to prison, you got to beat up the toughest guy you can find so you don't end up, on the bottom.
Yeah.
Yep. The irony is Bessent wants to do gay stuff anyway, but he still wants to assert his dominance right away.
Power top move for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
None of those guys return for interviews or casework. They disappear. Team Trump fails again. That's strike 2 by my count. Strike 2. And I'm pretty sure 3 strikes and then you're out or something. So I hope Trump's team doesn't screw up again, because that would be
Thank
terrible.
God there's this Twitter thread to save us.
What's going on exactly? Our intel agencies are so compromised that none of them really want to investigate election fraud. Yeah, we know.
Probably agree with
we've
that.
Been around we've been watching, because they're involved in rigging elections too.
I can believe that.
For $20 in Bitcoin, you could stop the intelligence agencies from rigging your elections too. But we just couldn't afford that at the time. And Trump didn't bother to fire all these people. I think that was a check swing. I think the umpire probably called it safe. Didn't go all the way around.
It wasn't a failure.
Still 2 strikes. It's June. 2 whistleblowers are so upset with handling of the investigation that they leave the USA in secret. They're so mad they don't even want to tell anybody how mad they are. They just leave.
Are the whistleblowers the Musketeers, guys? Chat, are you guys following who are the Musketeers, or if we left them in a different... are they in a B plot?
I think they come up again. I don't remember. But anyway, it's all about to fall apart, BB. So like questions like that are not going to help us solve this problem. Like, stop it. Focus. The Musketeers, their one tweet appearance, while important, is not important enough because things are about to fall apart.
Right.
So if we're not careful, if we start asking real questions about this Twitter thread, everything might fall apart, including Twitter.
Yep.
So chill a little bit. Tulsi has to bring new guys from the 3-letter agencies to start all over. The work was so bad. The fight was so bad. It had to start from scratch. Those guys are shocked beyond belief after the interviews. Interviews of who? And I thought the guys left. So who was there to interview? It's July. The investigation report is done. Tulsi prepares to bring the full report on 2020 and 2024 to Trump. But Trump's own White House advisors tell Tulsi not to include the 2020 evidence. So she gives Trump a partial report. Trump is now angry with Tulsi. So like the guy who's been very publicly for like 5-6 years, however it's been, saying like, yeah, we're gonna get to the bottom of 2020. Tulsi's investigating 2020, all these things, at the cabinet meeting that they do, the report card check-in, everybody kisses Trump's ass and says what they're working on. She talked about the 2020 election fraud and how they've got fraud on machines and stuff. But then she just somehow was like, yeah, Trump doesn't need to see that. He won't care if he sees that. Like, that makes no fucking sense. Give me a break.
So Tulsi is being framed as a good guy that was trying to save Trump, but his advisors blocked her from saving the world.
Yes.
And he was mad at her because she did not include 2020 evidence.
Yeah, Trump is mad because Tulsi did not include 2020 evidence.
Yeah, and he was like, I'm telling you it was rigged. And Tulsi's like, well, your advisors told me not to say whether or not it was rigged, right? Yeah. I just want to make sure I'm understanding how absolutely stupid this is.
You're understanding, I think.
Okay.
I think. But it might get stupider
all right.
Or soon. So Trump gets tired of waiting for these reports since he wants to know if Venezuela really runs America's elections. He's just not sure. He's not sure about our elections at this point. He wants to know which country's running them. So who does he finally call to brief him? Well, the Three Musketeers, of course, they're back. Not the CIA or the DNI. That's when Trump decides it's time to overthrow Maduro. I don't know what the Three Musketeers
Cue
told
that escalated quickly.
Yeah. But damn it, we're doing it.
That really got out of hand.
Yeah. When Trump is called before the Supreme Court to justify his actions in investigating Maduro or Congress or whoever he has to go to do the thing, he's like, I can't tell you, but I had a classified conversation with the Three Musketeers.
Maduro will be like, those dastardly musketeers foiled me again.
And now we figure out how they did it all, okay? How did the Three Musketeers do all of this? Well, Patrick Burns spent $80 million to protect America. Houses, cars, Bitcoin, all gone now. Gary Bernstein mortgaged his house. They're all broke now. No one has been paid back by Trump or Trump admin at all. Not 1 cent.
Wow. Is this a shakedown? That took a bit of a swerve.
Did they co-found the Trump admin? Because if they did, then they might have a case here. But if not,
well, you need to file a civil lawsuit.
They wouldn't have a case, but they could still make something up and file it and sue for this money. I wonder if Trump asked them to spend that money. I wonder if I don't know. This does seem weird, that part. And then
$80 million.
She stops this thread to remind you guys that as important as this thread is, this is not even the most important thread of hers. The most important thread of hers, and actually in the history of social media altogether, is one from January 2020. It explains what happened to America after the stolen 2020 election.
It's too bad this came out after the Devolution series, because you could have
crazy.
Like,
could have saved everybody.
You spent all that time trying to figure stuff out, and
yep. Did anyone authorize this operation?
What operation?
Just why are you asking questions like that? Have you not been paying attention?
She literally doesn't know like subject and predicate. It's difficult to understand what she is saying at any point in time. What operation is she referring to here?
Do you not trust the plan? Like, do you not trust the operation?
Like this is what it's like the who's on first thing here. Like, even if I'm trying to understand what she's saying, is the operation referring to burn? I guess it's referring to burn.
Just pay attention, okay? Can you just? I'm sick of having to catch you up to this. The fact that you're not like, it's not that hard to follow. The Three Musketeers saved us from Maduro, and Trump had no idea. Trump doesn't know what he's doing. But the Three Musketeers and Patrick Byrne, $80 million. saved us on a catamaran.
And in terms of who so far we have seen named as evil, bad Trump advisors, there is only one, and it's the one that they always name as the evil, bad Trump advisor, Jared Kushner.
Jared Kushner. And Tulsi, we're not sure about her.
Who happens
maybe
to be
good.
the Jew. So
man, we've gone this whole show so far not talking shit about the Jews, and you just had to do it.
I saw Ghost in the chat, and I was like, the Jews! Like, it just came out of me. But my point is, this might dovetail into some other stuff, Fuentes, etc. But, man, isn't it interesting that this op that seems to be highly critical of Donald Trump, and especially those really close to him.
My talking point right here, you motherfucker.
But is it about the Jews? I'll let you do the other talking point. Here's a sub-talking point. It's interesting that the only one named is the Jews. Is that what you said on your show?
No, but that's not even true, I don't think.
Jared Kushner?
Yeah, well, I mean, we should probably get through the thread before you start making like conclusory statements like that, because there are other people named later.
She led with the Jews.
Yeah. Well,
we could at least say that.
Okay, that's fair. We'll give you that. We'll give you that. The Jews are involved as they typically are.
Trump just can't, he for as based as he used to be, guys, those Jews just hoodwinked him.
Yeah. Did anybody authorize this operation? Great question. I'd love to know the answer to that. The Senate Judiciary Committee in 2006. In 2006, they gave Patrick Byrne a letter charging him with investigating corruption inside the government with extraordinary latitude in terms of our laws. It seems a little unconstitutional, if you ask me. But Patrick Lee and Chuck Grassley did that. So I'm not sure how that ties into this, but maybe he just has indefinite, in perpetuity. He can investigate whatever he wants with extraordinary latitude, and just never come forward with anybody like getting arrested. I've never heard of anybody getting arrested.
That is straight out of somebody watching Reacher or Jack Ryan, right? Like they bring you into the skiff in the show, and it's like, what's the terminology they use? All the cool terminology that the serious Hollywood spies use. They're like, what are the terms of engagement? Extreme latitude.
Yeah, something like
it's
that.
Like, don't let me catch you back in here. I'll have to take your badge.
We are probably reading like this the storyline for the next Reacher, like Jack Reacher for Emerald Robinson or Three Musketeers.
Jack. I mentioned Jack Ryan, but the John Krasinski Jack Ryan show, I forget, is it called Jack Ryan? I think it is, on Prime, that really went downhill after season 1. I think it's season 2 is all about regime change in South America.
Oh,
I can't remember if it's Venezuela, but it is interesting.
I don't remember which one. It's definitely propaganda, though. It's funny when you see that stuff. The story of how the 2024 election was saved is now breaking in multiple fronts. Yeah. InfoWars, guys. InfoWars is the breaking source for this, so you know it can be trusted. Do you still doubt my sources? I'm hoping that's a rhetorical question. The story of how the 2024 election was saved is not finished, not even close. Turn your notifications on. More tweets coming today. So, guys, this has been like already like 30 some hours, and we've gotten 20 tweets. Haven't learned a single actual new thing. We have a story we can barely follow. The only thing that I actually am like interested in is catamaran. I think I'm gonna buy one now because spice things up with my boating arsenal. Yeah. And especially if catamarans can survive the worst storm possible, I feel like that's definitely something I need in my repertoire.
I didn't know that. I mean, I've been on catamarans, rum punch catamarans, those kind of ones, snorkeling trips.
Sure.
So, I don't imagine those would fare as well in this kind of a mission.
If only the people on the Titanic were actually on a catamaran, I bet they probably would have survived.
Exactly.
It's just
is it over?
Regrets. No, there's more. We are not done. Oh, yes. we have a few more tweets, though. I don't know how many. Let's remember, Team Trump did not save the 2024 election. They had nothing to do with it. The Three Musketeers saved it. They got the IP addresses. They recruited the whistleblowers from Venezuela. Susie Wiles called these heroes the clown car. Team Trump kept them from briefing Trump, for years. It seems like
Susie Wiles coming out looking great out of this story, right? If you're looking for like who's being targeted, she's looking pretty good.
I want to know what kind of cake she was eating.
Slowly.
Slowly. I'm very curious.
The tiramisu touched her lips, trembling.
One bead of sweat dripped down the side of her face. Or was it a tear? We may not ever know.
See, we're already writing better. We could
workshop
it. Emerald, next time, listen, I'm not going to ask for your sources. Let's workshop this next time. Let's figure out verb, predicate. Let's figure out which POV we're going to stick with, right? Like, if you're writing your first screenplay, you don't start off with Memento. And I think that's what's going on here a little bit.
I don't know what Memento is, but...
Really?
No.
You should watch it. You'd probably like it, actually.
Yeah. If it has anything to do with the same writing that this thread is, I feel like I wouldn't. So
Christopher Nolan, so it's a little better.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know Memento.
Yeah. Guy Pearce.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going here because there is more. It's crazy to recall. So just a weird way to start a sentence. Patrick Byrne and General Flynn had to sneak into the White House to meet Trump on December 18th of 2020. I'm not even confident that's the date that happened. When did... It could be right, but... And Patrick Byrne and...
Patrick Byrne carried a boombox playing the theme to the Pink Panther the entire time.
December... Because that draft executive order was dated December 16th. But they are saying it was the evening of December 18th. So they must have front-loaded that draft executive order. Anyway, why? Whoops, didn't want to do that. Because Team Trump told him not to allow it. Flynn and Byrne told Trump to launch investigations into Dominion, so Team Trump leaked it all to the press. How dare they? How dare they?
Susie and Kushner so far.
We don't even know who was on Team Trump still. Yeah.
So far it seems like the names we've got is Susie and Kushner.
But we're about to get more names. And this one's a doozy. One we've talked about a lot. So Trump wins the 2024 election. He knows the election systems are rigged, even though we were told earlier that we don't know if he knows that. He isn't sure. He had to call the Three Musketeers to find out.
Oh, right. He now knows.
Because of the Three Musketeers. And that's why we're invading Maduro.
Mm-hmm.
He knows Venezuela is the tip of the spear against America and that China and Russia are its allies.
Damn right they're its allies.
Yeah, so this is some sovereign alliance stuff. She's just kind of...
She's missing one piece of the sovereign alliance.
Little piece there.
The United States.
Our intel agencies are involved too. His next big mistake, Trump. This is strike three, guys. This is strike three. He is officially struck out, according to the story. He picks Ratcliffe to run the CIA. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. Trump picked the guy who disobeyed his order. Man, I heard disobeying a president's order. That is sedition.
Well, thank God Tulsi's going to come out of this all okay.
Yeah. But anyway, his order to report on election fraud in 2020. Ratcliffe stalled that report. It showed the CIA actually hid the evidence of foreign interference in the 2020 election. And what I am pretty sure I am remembering things quite a bit differently than she is. She's going back to her old thread where there was a due date for DNI Ratcliffe to submit a report to the president on foreign interference in the 2020 election. Yeah. Ratcliffe missed the deadline. Ratcliffe went on a helicopter with Donald Trump to the Army-Navy game on December 12th, I think it was, or 13th. Spends hours with them. Chris Miller's there, all the key Devo guys. He comes out of the meeting the very next day. Trump is tweeting about the election being in protest because of the machines. Like, do you guys remember that?
Yes.
Let me pull that up from devolution.us.
If I wanted to say what is another target of this thread, and I'm loath to give you props, but I would suggest that the Devolution series and theory and or operation is being targeted by this narrative op.
She is not a fan of... I'm pretty sure she tried to tell somebody who's on Badlands to avoid me at all costs.
Many such cases.
Yeah, it's weird that's going on. Okay, so here it is. the timeline here. This is from my part 16. December 3rd, D&I Ratcliffe writes an op-ed about China's being national security threat number 1. December 7th, EO 13961. December 9th, Space Force becomes the 18th member of the U.S. intel community. December 12th, D&I Ratcliffe attends Army-Navy game with Trump. The very next day, Trump tweets, swing states that have found massive voter fraud, which is all of them, cannot legally certify these votes as complete and correct without committing a severely punishable crime. Everybody knows that dead people, below age people, illegal immigrants, fake signatures, prisoners, and many others voted illegally. Also, machine glitches. Another word for fraud, ballot harvesting, non-resident voters, fake ballots, stuffing the ballot box, votes for pay, roughed up Republican poll watchers, and sometimes even more votes than people voting. Took place in Detroit, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Pittsburgh, and elsewhere. In all swing state cases, there are far more votes than are necessary to win the state and the election itself. Therefore, votes cannot be certified. The election is under protest.
That's a highly detailed reasoning for the election being under protest, just coincidentally the day after Ratcliffe.
Yeah, pretty nuts. December 13th, SolarWinds hack is detected. December 15th, historical moment in the White House. Again, December 15th, Trump tweets twice about voting machine irregularities. December 16th, this is that draft executive order and that date. And also, again, more tweets about the voting machines. December 18th, this is 45 days. This is what Emerald's talking about. After the election, the due date for the intel report. The reason it wasn't put out, we're told, is because there was disagreement within the intel community about who to blame, if there was fraud, all these things. When it finally does come out, though, on January 7th, good timing for that, they put out the report as required by EO 13848. It's given to the president, the executive branch officials, and congressional leadership. And that same day, John Ratcliffe writes his counter report to it, saying that I do not believe the majority view expressed by the intelligence community fully and accurately reflects the scope of the Chinese government's efforts to influence the 2020 U.S. federal elections. And the NIO Cyber basically saying, like, yeah, I disagree that they were saying there was no fraud from China. I agree with the cyber guy who says, yeah, there maybe was fraud from China. Freaking
yeah,
stupid.
he's
Christopher
going
Porter,
directly
by the way.
against the intel community.
Yeah, Christopher Porter, by the way. I'm going to try to get an interview with this guy in the near future. We've been chatting a little bit. Anyway, back to the thread.
Yeah.
Just the bombshell thread here. Trump picked the guy who disobeyed his order, installed the report, all those things. Oh, here we go. This is how you know she's.
This is like.
I'm on with Alex Jones
perfect.
now.
Interlude.
Which, by the way, this is a like some huge news here, because I was told about 9 times now, maybe 10 times, that it was going to be the last Alex Jones stream ever, because he was finally getting shut down and he needed to sell all of his product and everything. So support him. But good to hear that they didn't actually shut him down this time. They probably will next time, though. I'm sure of it. But anyway, so she went on with Alex Jones. 31, the CIA didn't want a report showing it hid evidence of China interfering in the 2020 election because that means CIA is compromised by our enemies. Oh my God. Who would have thought?
I miss Bill Cooper. But thank God Alex Jones picked up the baton, right?
Were the fake January 6 riots created to hide this damning report? Ratcliffe delayed its release till January 7th. I don't think he was the sole reason behind the delay, though. I'm going to have to go back and look at that. I'm almost positive he wasn't. How deeply is the CIA involved in stealing America's elections? Per my sources, who she won't name, so they're totally real, former CIA Director John Brennan is part owner and likely co-founder of a data center used by Dominion voting systems in Serbia. I wish she would show proof of that. And Ratcliffe has done nothing about it. That asshole. Why now? This is why she's putting this thread out now and hasn't put it out before.
We Three Musketeers. There's these. This is like
she's part of
a
it.
Nolan-esque ending.
Yeah. We give a front seat to Emerald and Emerald alone for at least the last 18 months. So history would have the whole story. However, it turned out. Last Friday, The Guardian and MI6 soft broke the story and spun it. So Emerald informed us the embargo was over.
Now, how did MI6 and The Guardian get the story, Patrick?
And I haven't even seen that story. I wonder if theirs is written better. Guardian, do you think they called the Three Musketeers too? Probably not.
So this does confirm she was head hopping throughout that, because the tenses were changing. never was it suggested that Byrne was among the Three Musketeers, even though I assumed that's what she was saying. You know, if you're going to name somebody as like a mysterious term, you can't also be talking about those people in the same tweets.
I want to find the actual story here. Because maybe we'll quick go through that. Let's first finish up this thread here. But fear not, guys. The story of who saved the 2024 election is not done yet. Just make sure your notifications are on. That's the most important part. You need to make sure you see all of her tweets so that she can get enough Twitter money. I mean, so that you can stay up to date on the story, because she's going to continue it tomorrow.
Right.
No, I want the Guardian link. Hold for processing, guys.
Man, I can't believe that Maduro was the final boss the whole time.
So where? What the hell? So I don't even see the article.
You said they soft broke the story. Maybe
they
that
softly
means
disclosed it.
They mentioned it in another story,
you know what?
Or context.
This is a good spot to plug our own little soft disclosure, and then hopefully I'll come back with the story here in a second. The other link.
Soft disclosure just dropped new favorites for the season. The Lotion, your 5-ounce favorite, is still here. And now we've added full 11-ounce bottles. New Lavender Tea Tree Deodorant. Clean, calm, and effective. New Tallow Bars. Chamomile Lemon Rose and Naked. Rich moisture that actually works. And on Black Friday, the new arrivals land. Introducing our first men's only formula, Beard Oil, in unscented and spiced vanilla. Truth. Tamed, and finally your beard is too. Tallow lip balms, made with beef tallow and lanolin for serious moisture. Available in chamomile mint, vanilla, naked, and vanilla tangerine. Plus, mini tallow bars, same deep moisture as the full size. Available in vanilla coffee and naked. And finally, lavender vanilla lotion, smooth, soothing, and worth the wait. On Black Friday, the new products arrive, and so do the Black Friday bundles. Visit softdisclosure.com for truth you can gift.
Soft disclosure.
It's a nice ad.
Hell yeah, it is.
It's a hell of a jam. It's got like a nice 90s rap beat to it.
You think that was 90s rap?
I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. I just picked something.
Does anybody know where this Guardian article is? Because I can't find it. And by the way, the Guardian, like, do the foreigners not know how a search function works, or am I just that stupid? I can't find it because I cannot find the search button. Like, how do I search for the name on this website? Oh, here we go. Search the Guardian. Yeah, well, that didn't work.
So you said it was softly broken. So how would it have been softly broken?
How do I sort this? Well, it wasn't the past 24 hours. Young Vic? What is he talking about? Past month? Am I just stupid? Does this story not even exist? Because that'd be even more hilarious if, like, the reason we're doing this now is because MI6 decided to twist the story in the Guardian, but then the Guardian article doesn't actually exist.
I mean, they seem to be suggesting it was alluded to. That could be anything. It could be very broad. Like everything else in this thread, besides the catamaran adventure, was very specific.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if you believe this tweet as written. You are retarded. It's just...
I mean, I don't want to call people retarded because, some non-retarded
they don't understand
people...
what you're saying anyway.
Here's the problem. This is what I actually see the problem is, and I talked about this a little bit on my show today. And I've fallen victim to this, guys. I'm not trying to lambaste anybody. I've done it too, and sometimes still do it. But we have an issue in our movement of like having these heroes that we look to as infallible. And because of that, and some of these, I don't even know why they've been granted this, like this title of being a hero to the movement. Like everything they do, like they're clearly part of the plan. They're doing something. But honestly, like, I don't know if we have any reason to believe that. The only person that I look to in that regard is Trump himself. Like I would consider him to be somebody like I can forgive away his bad behavior because I do know for sure that he's constantly running these psyops and doing narrative warfare and all these things all the time. He has as much leeway as he needs from me. He's the only one though. But there's a lot of other people that have inserted themselves and made themselves prominent names within the movement. And I don't know if I can trust them or take the things that they're saying at face value. And I don't know if we can trust that their motives are pure. We have no reason to believe that other than like they were mentioned in a Q drop or something at some point. Like there are people that I've personally interacted with and like people that are looked to in this movement as like leaders and part of the plan and all these things. But then every one of my interactions with them is like, yeah, I'll come to your conference. Just, pay me $50,000 to do so. And it's like, dude, like we're doing these conferences because it fits exactly with the message that you preach. Like that is literally why we do these conferences. But you're telling me you will charge us $50,000 to come and speak for an hour on a panel to do that? Like I'm willing to pay for flights and stuff. That's different. But like just on top of the flights and the pay for security detail and food and stay and all that stuff, rental cars, they want $50,000 just to speak. And I'm like, I won't pay for anybody to come speak at these conferences, period. But just the fact that they're doing that, like it makes me question motives and that is really like, it's ruined the luster that a lot of these people in the movement have for me. Like it's hard for me to give anybody leeway. I don't know what the motives are. And when you understand that, and I'm not saying that makes them a bad person either, because I'm just saying I'm neutral on every single one of these people. I'm not giving the benefit of the doubt to any one of them. Except for Trump. That's it. And so when you lose that, like that filter, like where, everything this person does is good. It's part of the plan. When you lose that filter, you see things so much more clearly. And I feel like you recognize the psyops a lot more clearly. And that Twitter thread to me so far is just one big total psyop. The timing of it on the heels of the mega America First division op and all this other criticism of the Trump administration, which some of it is deserved, of course, but still like they are trying to paint Trump as this like buffoon who has no idea what he's doing, who even though he's been talking about election fraud for the past however long, doesn't actually understand our elections are stolen. But once he finds out, he's just going to invade the country that does it instead of just like get rid of machines in our country, all these things. The only way to fix our elections, we're told, is
regime change.
No, the Senate needs to end the filibuster and then we can do everything right in our country. And in addition to, we need to go invade Venezuela and get into another war, even though he's the guy who like did get us into an entire new war his entire first term. Like the whole thing is so stupid and it's an op. And once you get rid of that filter of like these big names, maybe they're not who you think they are, you can see the op. That's where I'm at. Thank you for coming to my John talk. I'll get off my soapbox.
No, that was great. I think, first of all, on the Trump note you mentioned of the trust that Trump is afforded, I personally feel that that's well earned. Donald Trump started the movement. It doesn't mean he started truth movement. It doesn't mean he started conservatism or American values. He started the MAGA movement. He started it. Like, we have our theories about people being behind him and all that kind of stuff, but that's the bottom line. Like, you are what your record says you are, the infamous saying, right? Donald Trump is MAGA. He started the MAGA movement. He embodies the MAGA movement. The MAGA movement is all first principles. And when it's kind of ironic, actually, isn't it? Because if we're going to get any pushback, and by the way, we understand that the vast majority of people watching the show, even if they don't agree with us, they like these kinds of discussions. It's usually a very vocal minority who, before we even gave any opinions on this thread, are saying, you need to shut up and trust the plan, right? It's the shut up and dribble of the info war. They don't even want the discussion about what is supposed to be the most important Twitter thread of the year, certainly of the day. So that's one thing. But if you want, another kind of argument in favor of why Trump navigates things in a way that can admittedly frustrate us sometimes, look at this. Look at take a snapshot of these figures named in this Twitter thread. Mileage varies of what you think of them. I have my thoughts about them after threads like this. Think of what we thought about them in 2020, that kind of era, and then what we think about them right now. And think, if you think about why would these figures, to your point, have some of the luster they do, where does that luster come from? If you think of good, bad, or anything in between, guys, I'm not casting aspersions or final judgments. Anybody in the quote-unquote MAGA movement that has a certain amount of luster in the narrative was granted to them by Donald Trump or taken from Donald Trump and grafted onto them, right? All of these people defined themselves in the public mind in relation to Donald Trump. They either worked in his administration, they were an advisor to his, they did business with him, they were in photo ops with him, they donated to him, they fought for him in the media. A lot of these people are just media people who never actually had any role at all of any kind with any Trump administration, which I think is important to keep in mind. All the people that are really critical of Trump's team have never been in a Trump administration. So that's notable. But this is why Trump operates. This is part of why Trump operates the way he does, right? And he lets these things, and you and Chris talk about this a lot on Saturday nights, how Trump kind of navigates when things blow up like this, narratives and circular firing squads that sort of crop up within the MAGA movement. Trump sometimes frustrates us at the beginning of those deployments because he either doesn't seem to engage or he engages in a really confusing manner for us. But look at why he has to do that. He either knows who all these people are, or maybe a better answer, he doesn't know. He doesn't know what they're going to do 3 years from now. And it's notable to me, and I'm sorry, but it's notable to me that she felt the need to talk about the $80 million that is implied that Patrick Byrne is owed by Donald Trump. Get the fuck out of here with that. Are you kidding me? You're going to do a Twitter thread and you're the hero of the movement because you spent $80 million on shit you're not even going to tell us about to save the country? You can fuck off with that. I'm sorry. But, and to your point, the reason I said it was ironic at the beginning of this rant is that we've taken more shit this year for seemingly questioning Donald Trump more so than anybody in the movement. And now that 90% of the movement is attacking Donald Trump, we're the ones defending him because we're consistent with show the receipts, speak from first principles, have logical progressions. That's it. And none of this followed that.
And on that note too, right on the heels of the 2024 election, when everybody was like, "Oh, everything's great again," we were the ones that are like, "No, our elections are still fraudulent. Our elections, all these people are still legitimate. Trump won, but that doesn't mean everything's great again. He was allowed to be the winner for whatever reason. We don't know how that went down. I don't think it was Maduro, being stopped in his tracks and whatever.
By
maybe
the Musketeers.
We don't know, but we haven't seen shit. They haven't shown us shit. This whole thing, I still think it's ridiculous until I see receipts. I will happily eat crow if all of this ends up being true. I just have a really hard time believing that's going to be the case. I mean, moderator had to come back to the chat to say fire.
Thanks, Chris.
That was good.
Yeah, I just and another note on that. There are tells in there of that we're not just blowing smoke. We don't ultimately know, and we don't pretend to know what the truth is in this situation, and that's what people get twisted. But in my opinion, there are tells. We both addressed that, baseline. Does this thread make Donald Trump look good or bad? That's a really good tell, guys. You don't have to go down 5D chess rabbit holes before you ask that question over supposed MAGA people.
I think that number one you can even look at is just method of distribution. It's not like a detailed breakdown, an article to counter the Guardian's article, which I found, by the way, and I don't even know if we'll even read through it tonight, but the chat was very angry that I didn't see them yelling while I was talking. But I did get the thread, so thank you guys. if you're going to put out like a story like this, the story of how the 2024 election was saved, that cost Patrick Byrne $80 million, you're going to do it one post at a time over the course of 4 days. Like that is, you're not doing it that way because you have a super serious story to tell. You're doing it because you're clickbaiting. I'm sorry, there's no way around it. If you want me to take you seriously, post it in a serious format for me to consume and see the evidence of. But that's not what this is. This is a clickbait, and people are falling for it because it's feeding your confirmation bias. And when it does it in these slow drips and everybody gets one post at a time to freak out about and everything, you're getting that spot inside you scratched in a way that like, there's no way she's lying about me this time. Everything's great now. Like election fraud, they fixed it.
Why does it have to be inside of us?
Because where else would it be? It's on the outside. If you have an itch on the outside, that's what soft disclosure is for. You have an itch on the inside. That's what Emerald Robinson.
We may come out with a product for that.
Yeah, I don't know what we call it though.
Yeah. I forget what I was going to say, but because I said something stupid instead.
That's okay. So did Emerald Robinson. She still had things to say afterwards.
I was going to say another besides what you said about, show me the receipts if this is really your intention, etc. Right? It's amazing that that's a controversial take in the truth community. Telling the fucking truth now is a controversial take. Tells you something about what that means. But point I was going to make is there's another dark angle of threads like this, and this isn't the only one. It's not just takedown of specifically Kushner, Wiles, and Ratcliffe. Do I know if they are ultimately good people or not? No, I don't. But it's notable that it's a takedown attempt on those people who are actual Trump administration people. Secondly, as we said, it's a takedown of Trump. Third, though, and perhaps worst of all, it is directly attempting, it is demanding that everybody who comes in contact with this thread puts Patrick Byrne and Emerald Robinson and the Three Musketeers on a pedestal and worships them and thanks them for saving the country. Just like we were told, and may he rest in peace, that Charlie Kirk saved the 2024 election. How does this play into that? Are these competing psyop? Did Charlie Kirk's...
Pressler. What about what about registered voters from Scott Pressler? Like I thought he saved the country.
Exactly. So let's keep an eye out for if there's co-ops between Pressler and Robinson if they start stroking each other off about how they're all saving the country. Well, you're all saving the country in completely contradictory ways, and we're supposed to bow down and pledge fealty to you for saving us from Donald Trump's idiocy. Like, it shouldn't be a controversial take in this community. And as I've been saying a lot lately, if your response to that is trust the plan, you might just not be trusting the plan you think you're trusting. And maybe the people that are actually backing Donald Trump against obvious subversive psyops like this shit are the ones who are a little bit closer to what a quote-unquote plan might be.
And yeah, guys, if you're just a piece of advice, I think the last person you should ever bow down in front of is Scott Pressler, and I shouldn't have to explain why that is. But he's gay, and you never know what's gonna happen while you're down there. So just be careful. Don't bow down in front of him.
I don't think he's a power top, though. That's Scott Bessent.
Yeah,
doesn't strike me that way. That might, but I've been out of the game on being a gay guy. So
you were in the game at one point.
No, but I was friends. I had a close friend who was very gay, and then he got so gay that I wasn't friends with him anymore.
Oh, I thought you were about to say that I became gay too.
No, nope, never did.
Oh, well, good for you. I'm proud of you for not taking the gay pill.
Thanks, man.
Not to be confused with I don't know which pill I'd compare that to. The black pill, maybe. We do have a video of Maduro dancing.
Well,
this is great.
It's a good follow-up. Chris showed me this yesterday. It's a good follow-up to before to set the stage. I want you guys to understand now, because we were all just playing hypotheticals there, John and I. We obviously fully subscribe to every single fact alleged in that stream of consciousness. Kind of James Joyce-ish writing style, I think she was going for on reflection.
Yeah.
Unreliable narrator, right? Plausible deniability, I think 7D chess. That's what she was doing. But to set the stage, what you're about to see is the recent actions of the guy, like the Emperor Palpatine of the whole world. We now understand 72 countries, right?
For 20 years, every person in power, basically all over the world, is put there by Maduro, which is insane. Well, I mean,
What a guy.
insane if you don't believe that. Insane if you don't believe that to be true. But here's him. Looks like a guard after party right
side
there.
by side of that. Isn't that reminiscent? It's in the same. What's a French word I could use right now?
I don't know any French words.
The same je ne sais quoi of I know that's a French word, but I don't know what it means. But it's in that kind of milieu, perhaps, of the Trump dance.
You say like same style, maybe? Does it have to be a French word?
No, it's not like that. It's more of in the same milieu.
I don't know. I don't know what milieu is. So we can figure this out though.
I think it's a calm. The dance is a calm.
I need a French word for style.
Yeah.
For when two fascists dance the same way.
No, not the same way. In
similar ways.
In similar ways, yeah.
Because that's what we're told. Trump is a fascist, right? I mean, can I say it that way?
Is style itself?
Manière similar.
The French word for style is style? Manière. Nah, that's dumb. That's not what I was looking for.
Manière similaire.
Manure similaire.
Milieu means environment.
I don't think that works.
I don't think it means environment. A person's social environment, surrounding settings or environment, especially social and cultural ones.
We'll do it, Chris. Said based dictators dance in similar fashion.
What's je ne sais quoi mean, and how is it spelled?
Isn't that je ne sais quoi? I mean, don't you have to spell it right?
This is actually maybe perfect. Je ne sais quoi, a quality that cannot be described or named easily. How great is that?
I think
That's
works.
what I thought of to...
Dance of the Dictators. This is great.
Man, that's interesting.
Danse
That's a little
des
bit of
dictateurs.
My wife is fluent in French. We could ask her.
Oh, but she's Canadian. That doesn't count, does it?
Not really.
It's like, I don't know. It's like a Walmart brand French, not real Target brand French.
Sam's Choice French. That's true. Yeah.
Anyway,
Man, Canadians are Sam's Choice French people.
Nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Or like Quebecois, and then other Canadians are Sam's Choice Americans, or Brits. They're not Americans. Fuck that.
She's not watching, is she? She hasn't watched the replays of the shows.
She's usually quick on the draw if she is watching.
Okay.
So no, she must be asleep.
I don't know what else I even want to talk about tonight. I feel like we talked shit about plenty of people. We went balls deep in that Emerald Robinson thread.
Nice.
And I don't regret it. So.
Yep. Well, this is adjacent. This is just a little. No.
Here we go.
Fake and gay qualifiers.
I love when I'm about to wrap up the show, and you're like, okay, but here I got like 7 more things that I want to talk about. Fuck you, man. Okay, go for it.
It's like a horror movie. You think like you're at the final scene of a horror movie. You're like, man, wasn't that all crazy back at Camp Crystal Lake? And then there's one more topic. But
what, they both feel like being murdered or something? Is that?
Wouldn't it be something if CNN polls rescue us from the intra-MAGA psyops? Now, I'm not saying these polls are real. Look at this as a narrative deployment. I think it's interesting that, as you said tonight, look at all the ops that seem to be playing out within MAGA, against MAGA, but look at who is reminding the normie layers that Trump is actually doing fine within MAGA.
Oh, you know what? I have an idea.
So is...
Okay.
Oh, I mean, if you want to do that, you can. I was just saying somebody
the president losing...
Will you stop interrupting me? I'm trying to say something important. We should do a dramatic reading of the Witkoff call because they're trying to like get him fired over that.
That was fake. Well, it's not real, but I couldn't believe it was reported as real.
Yeah, like I'll be Witkoff and you can be the Russian since you're basically a Russian, but we'll do that after whatever thing you're trying to do here first. You go ahead with
Just
that.
a bit here.
Republicans. No, look, this is still Donald Trump.
We missed the lead. We missed the lead there.
So is the president losing Republicans? No, look, this is still Donald Trump's Republican Party, and we can see it here. It's like a rock, to quote Bob Seger. I mean, take a look here. Republicans who approve of Trump. 6 months ago, it was 87%. Now, well, hello, it's the same number. It's 87%. He has not lost any support among
a lot of power tops tonight.
That guy would bow down.
Republicans compared to 6 months ago. As I said at the beginning, he's like a rock. He's like a rock. The Republican base is sticking by Donald Trump at this point in time.
It really is interesting to watch his overall approval rating go down, 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 but see this be completely constant here.
It is among independents. It's not
you
among
can't believe the numbers
so
at all.
how does this compare to past presidents in a second term?
Yeah, okay. I think this gives the game.
I mean, we don't need to go into the rest of it, but I just, again, as a narrative deployment, isn't it interesting that like all the strife we've been seeing in this community over the last, I don't know, couple months maybe, is like intra-MAGA, Fuentes. Yeah. The narrative has been that. Man. But even the mainstream media has been saying, oh, MAGA's tearing itself apart, right? MAGA's dead, and now...
but you know where they get those narratives from? They get it from Twitter, too. Like,
yeah.
Twitter is
I'm not saying
dumb.
It's real.
It's so fake. And all the people that are like sowing the Discord, we found out this last week, are basically Nigerians or from Abu Dhabi or some shit. Like, all those Twitter accounts with millions of followers, Melania News Now and whatever, like, none of them are from this country. And then all the ones that are from this country that are still pushing the division up are paid by other countries. The whole thing is retarded.
Yeah. I just think it's interesting that as a narrative deployment, CNN of all places is like, hey, Trump's actually completely unchanged among his base. There was a little nugget that I had seen when reading about those supposed polls. Again, as a narrative deployment, what they said was, when they said the overall approval rating is down, they're talking about independence, but it was kind of interesting how they framed it because they said that this is due to an overwhelming number of Democrats no longer identifying as Democrat in 2025.
Yeah.
So the reason that they are saying independents are turning on Trump is actually that Democrats are identifying as independent. And I don't know if that's true or not. It's just the fact that the mainstream liberal media is saying the only reason Trump is down among independents is because he's not down among independents. He's down among liberals who didn't like him anyway, but who hate their own party.
Well, and all this seems like, not to talk about the midterms because talking about the midterms is stupid, but it seems like what they're trying to do here is keep that narrative alive. It's like, oh, well, you know, the midterms are coming up, but look, Trump's support is great, but it's those damn independents. They sure turned on him for these midterms. And that's why Trump, you know, lost all those seats. And also he lost all those seats because Maduro wasn't overthrown yet. And probably somebody wouldn't foot the $15 Bitcoin bill to stop him this time. Can you imagine an operation to like, you have for 20 years in 72 countries overturned election results and like installed anybody you wanted, and you got taken down by $15 in Bitcoin from a Japan wallet? Like, what? Sorry, not to
Three
go back to
Musketeers
that
too, man.
super real story, but give me a break. That's all it took. $15. Had we done $15 15 years ago, none of this would have happened. Could you imagine? The golden age would have been here already.
And I know there's there's some people who don't believe the sovereign alliance is a real thing or indicative of something that is real. But most people in our audience do think that there's something there. And again, you look for reverse indicators, some coordination at the very least.
No, I'm just giving shit.
Yeah. You look for reverse indicators in these things, and it's always a pretty easy one whenever you see an op being like, man, the frickin' Russians and Chinese, and they don't thread Trump into that. It's like, well, that's odd, because the globalist media is saying that Trump is aligned with the Russians and the Chinese. But now the MAGA media is saying that the Russians and the Chinese are coming to get us, which is weird because that was what the mainstream media was saying in Trump's first term. So it's almost like the America First movement is the new mainstream media attacking Trump from the same vectors as the media was in 2016.
Yeah, the whole Wickoff story, I decided I didn't want to do a reading of it, but the story of it. Let's just, speaking of Russia, the story, the theme of it is like these two guys chatting, they're bros, like, hi, how are you doing? I'm doing lovely. How are you doing this? I'm doing great. Let's talk a little bit about peace and all these super serious. And Witkoff was like, no, what I think you should do to get President Trump to the table, and like, this is how you should frame things. And they're like, we need to fire Witkoff because of treason. He's helping another country on how to negotiate and all this stuff. And it's funny that they're trying to, this leaked phone call, whoever leaked it, they're trying to use it as a vector to get rid of arguably one of the most successful negotiators in American history, considering how many conflicts, major conflicts we're told been a part of, making peace with. Seems interesting. And the timing of it too, on the verge, we're told, for the 12th time of finally peace between Ukraine and Russia. Same peace deal we've been waiting on for 3 years. It's here. It's almost, it's like weeks away, months away. We can see the finish line, we think. And we better get rid of the guy that's, supposedly negotiating. It just seems not like a tactic the mainstream media would ever do. This is totally a real story.
But if you read the Robinson thread, it definitely does seem like Donald Trump, because he's an idiot, would delegate the authority to solve the potential inflection point of World War III to a realtor he used to know. That definitely seems like something Trump would do if you take that reporting about the super secret musketeers who saved Donald Trump and by extension all of us. So in that elseworld, it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
I did want to show people on the Russia thing. This is the biggest. I know it's just like a language comm, but sometimes these are big for me. Trump put out this tweet and, all about the progress on Ukraine and everything. He said, I look forward to hopefully meeting with Zelensky and Putin soon, but only when the deal to end this war is final or in its final stages. And I thought that terminology was interesting. It's very strange. It's like, well, isn't the point of having the discussions to have it in its final stages? So it reminded me of this that I wrote about at the time. Putin says he's ready to meet Zelensky, but only in the final stage of negotiations.
From a couple months ago, right?
From June. So
and they did the same thing in like February, I think.
Yeah. So they both Trump and Putin keep saying, oh, yeah. Like, we're definitely going to meet and solve the war, but only in the final stage. And, on two levels, if you want to look on a narrative level, I would say that they're talking about the final stage of the show. They're not ready yet to do the peace deal, but they'll do it at the final stage, right? That's kind of my reading of it. But if I want to put my actual hat on, I think it's an even bigger sovereign alliance comm. Because one of the things I've always tried to connect to the devolution theory with the Russia-Ukraine theater is the idea that, as Trump always says, let's take him at face value. The Russia-Ukraine conflict would not have happened if I was in office, if I was president. True. So he left office or allowed that office to be abdicated. And if you take this final stage stuff at face value, Putin is saying, once we have achieved all objectives in the Donbass, we will have peace. And isn't it something that Donald Trump is mirroring that stance? Yeah. So on an actual level, he might also be saying, yeah, once Putin gets what he wants, then we'll make peace. And I don't know how this has been misconstrued. Maybe it's because the peace plan was 28 points and like that's too complicated. The peace plan, as being proposed by, we're told, the US and the Russians, without the Europeans and Ukrainians, as we've been saying for literally years, looks the same as the 2022 plan.
Yeah, well, I don't think we've actually gotten the 2022 plan that was released, but I mean,
it's been talked about.
Yeah. We went over the peace thing on Saturday's show, and I went over on my show too. It's like the whole thing's so hypocritical, stupid. Here, number one, Ukraine is sovereign. number 2 through 28. These are all the reasons Ukraine isn't actually sovereign. So
the new Ukraine will be sovereign.
Just throwing it out there. I do want to. There was one more story. I just want to read the headline. It's super funny. Actually, two things. First,
man, I'm trying to get out of here.
I know, right? This will be quick. But Trump is Mr. Branding himself, and he wants to do this. There's a new word for Trump Republican, which is almost everyone. Great policy is the key. It is Republican or Republican. And I just want to say, this is the worst branding in all of history.
Yeah.
I hate it. Everybody agrees. Everybody agrees it's the worst of all time.
Yep.
He is trying to get everybody to do something else. He does not want it to be Republican.
Yeah.
Probably wants it to be Badlander or something, if I'm being totally honest. Okay, here's the other story. Just to
we could just keep MAGA.
Yeah, that'd be great too.
Yeah.
This aired in Politico today. Nobody will ever believe it. James Comer airs doubts about his own Epstein investigation. The House Oversight Chair fears so many conspiracy theories will haunt any findings he ultimately releases.
Especially if those findings are fake.
Who has been saying basically that now for, I don't know, since June or whatever? Maybe even before that? Like many of us here at Badlands.
Mainly you and Chris, so you should.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it is the guy who's like heading up the charge on releasing a lot of this stuff. Is like, oh yeah,
nobody's
maybe
going to believe whatever we say.
We're never going to be able to satisfy, some of those people. I think he even says it in there. Let me find it. I fear the report will be like the Warren report. He said nobody will ever believe it. There's one more quote. There's so many conspiracy theories, he said, leaving unspoken that his reputation and legacy are now intertwined with the case. It's not going to live up to expectations, and people are going to be angry.
Man,
it's a bummer. Too bad for him.
Right.
He should start a podcast, though.
Apologize. Always apologize after Comer, not before.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it's not your fault, buddy. Trump campaigned on it. It's not your fault.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, okay, now let's get to the... You got the boosts?
I do. Let's see here. We've got... Let's see which ones we got. We got from Chris, $10. I'll give you both a pass. No, well, it could be any Chris.
Maybe it's all Chris's.
Yeah.
Is it on behalf of all Chris's?
I think so. That's usually how they operate. I'll give you both a pass because you were alternately stroking out, but the leader of a grand jury is obviously a juror Führer.
That's a good one. But I think co-founder juror is still the top suggestion so far.
Right. Lionheart, $100 tonight. Good evening, happy Thanksgiving, and God bless. Thank you very much, Lionheart.
Thank you.
Much appreciate your support.
And I'll say my happy Thanksgiving wishes for the end of the show here.
Is it going to be just happy Thanksgiving?
I can't tell you what I'm going to say. I don't want to ruin it for everybody.
Okay.
But it's going to be along those lines, yes.
Says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone, for $20. So thank you, fellow North Dakotan.
Thank you, fellow North Dakotan. 1027, Joe, you've been great. Thank you for the support, always.
That's the boost. Do you want me to get the rants?
Were there any of people who became Badlanders?
There was a person who became a Badlander.
You should read a couple of those too. Those are
okay.
Good stuff.
Oh, somebody just came through as I refreshed it. Pasadena Kate, $17. I'll go balls deep with you guys anytime. Happy Thanksgiving.
Nice.
Damn. All
right. That's what we like to hear.
Yeah. I don't know how many of these go back for, but
just go a couple days. Go to Monday, because Monday I caught up.
Okay.
And by the way, becoming a Badlander, that's like a monthly subscription to Badlands. So we appreciate those of you who are choosing to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Very helpful. Yeah.
Peyton Pooh became a Badlander. Badlandia, live forever. Maybe meant will live forever. I pray for you and all the creators you brought together here. Many I followed since 2021. The devil has nothing on the faithful. Stay vigilant. We got your 6. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We got Smoked 78, who became a Badlander. Where do I find my co-founder badge? That may not be as unrealistic as you think.
We are coming out with co-founder t-shirts very soon. So
Yep.
Stay tuned.
Yeah. But you must claim them.
You have to sue us once you get the shirt. Then you have to.
Right. Exactly.
Required.
One with Cats became a Badlander. Love the monthly support option. Badlands is my go-to for news, entertainment, and engagement. Best group of base public intellectuals out there. Thank you very much. That's for $50. I don't know if that means you're doing $50 a month, but if you
that is what that means. Once you do it, it's part of the blood oath. Like once you hit that monthly subscription option, you have to do that in perpetuity. So
that's awesome, guys. Thank you. And Smoked was $10 a month, and Peyton Pooh was $17 a month.
And guys, for those who don't like, so we have a rev share that we do every month for all the Badlands hosts based on like how many shows you're on. Like we have a bunch of different metrics that go into it, so it's fairly split. But that goes directly to the rev share, all of that minus the whatever minus processing fee. Badlands doesn't keep any part of that money. So
yeah, that stuff, obviously when you guys gift the individual shows, it's obviously very appreciated by whoever's on the show. But that stuff's great because it just helps us with the kind of floor for everybody. Rambly on 365. I just want to hit these before they go away. Gifted 5 subs in the chat. Thank you for that. And 4D Starks gifted 5 subs right after that. That's another thing that just helps the floor of
absolutely.
Badlands. 23rd. I think we got a couple more. Vigilant Vet 71 became a Badlander. My granddad told me in 1967 there are bad people running this country. You two are confirming that. He's giving the thumbs up. Thanks for what you're doing. Keep on keeping on, and God bless you both. Thank you.
Thank you. I have heard that rumor too, that there might be some bad people running the country. That's
right.
I heard that might be true.
Yeah, we're caught up on the boost.
Awesome. And we got some rants as well. D Patriot 1776. Happy Thanksgiving, Jon and BB. Much love. Much love right back to you. Jane Klein for $20 says happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thank you. Bama Girl 2560. Here's to the Badlands family. Happy Thanksgiving and many blessings to you all. Many blessings right back at you. Melindy says, thank y'all and Chris Paul for lampooning the Emerald op.
That would make a great comedy spec script per thread.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to do much. You wouldn't have to take many liberties with it as written.
We haven't had a Musketeers like rewrite or rerun. Like normally they go in the cycle like where every 10 years they have to redo an old movie or series or whatever to totally ruin it further. And maybe you could
picture like Dude, Where's My Car mixed with like Pirates of the Caribbean for when it gets a little serious in the middle.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else. Like The Interview, maybe.
What's the boat? What's the show about the boat with where he's like, I'm the captain now?
Captain Phillips, I think.
Captain Phillips. That could we do that?
Yeah.
We need one with a storm in there. Like what's the show where The Day After Tomorrow, where everything like freezes over?
I want to keep it a comedy, right? We don't want to get too bogged down in how serious it got in the middle there, right? I think she was going for comedy, right?
I don't know what she was going for.
Huh. I guess the eyes and the je ne sais quoi in the eye of the beholder, I suppose.
Je ne sais quoi. Oh, so dumb. But all right, we have more here. Peyton Pooh. So the N-word is nuclear, right? Nuclear family is the target. Raise your kids well, moral and informed. Pray with strangers. Be the story. Burning Bright.
Thank you.
Yeah, because that was for you, Burning Bright, because you haven't been doing that. You need to start raising that kid well.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
he just crawls around after me. I'm like, when's this thing going to start raising itself?
Take a hint and some advice. Bradley A90. Sometimes you have to be, for $20, by the way. Thank you very much. Sometimes you have to be the dictator of dancing. Nicholas Maduro, Michael Scott. And I'll play that video as our outro. It's great stuff. It's from a boat, too. It's a dancing scene from the boat. I think it's
the themes worked out tonight.
Very well, I must say. And then we also got Julie J. Ann, happy Thanksgiving, and thank you, gentlemen. And thank you as well. And so this will be my closing thoughts here. My Thanksgiving message to you all is happy Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Wanted to say that for the end. So
you really have a gift.
I know. Away with words. Many say.
Yep. A certain milieu.
The Shakespeare of our time, I'm often told.
You could be the co-founder of the next Emerald Robinson thread if you keep it up.
I mean, I would only hope I would be considered. I feel like our additions to the thread did make it more enjoyable.
Yeah, I think
you
so.
know, so
that was funner than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was frustrating, but I actually felt joyful while ranting.
Well, that's too bad because funner's not a word.
That's true as well.
See, I could have Emerald Robinson. I'm trying to. This is an audition right now.
Yeah,
I can help.
I had a recent stroke. We did get the driving horse out of it. Hope you guys are all enjoying that in your lives as part of the new language.
New language.
Chris Paul did his drive-by with a couple of fire emojis. It always makes you feel good.
Yeah, it does always make you feel good. I love it when co-hosts, do that. We never get it on Saturday, but yeah, whatever.
I will try. I guess I usually just talk shit.
Just kidding, man. But all right, let's get out of here. We're gonna play this outro video from the Dictator of Dancing. Keep that in mind. That's the spot. Hit that thumbs up, everybody. I will not be doing the Daily Herald tomorrow on Thanksgiving, but I'll be back Friday.
Wow.
I'm not sure what shows are going. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. I want this one. There we go. Have a good night. Hit the thumbs up. Have a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the day. We'll see you next time we see you. I was probably unmuted, huh?
It is a primal art form used in ancient times to express yourself with the body and communicate. Sometimes you have to take a break from being the kind of boss that's always trying to teach people things. Sometimes you have to just be the boss of dancing.